nervous because I'm here now.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the fact that Lamar Jackson, for the first time in his young pro career, has missed back-to-back practice. Did not practice on Wednesday, and we just found out he did not practice today on Thursday. So before we get into this, if you could take a second, help us out, click the subscribe button, give us a like. We'd appreciate it. And if you're interested in participating more in the show, check out our Patreon. But Jimmy, are you worried when you hear Lamar Jackson misses not just one, but two practices this week in preparation for the Bengals?
Man, I wasn't at first, but the more that I thought about this question in preparation to answering, I'm a little worried because Lamar is a rhythm type player to me. He's still young. He still needs all the reps he can get in practice. People forget last year was his first full year, starting. And people talk about how it's been 2 years and so he had 7 games, guys, in his first year. Last year was his first real year. He needs all of what he can get in practice and in the game. And so, yeah, it does concern me. And a knee is always concerning because what happens a lot of times when guys tear an ACL or a ligament in their knee, they've had it damaged for a significant amount of time. And then at any instant, one wrong move, bam, there it goes, right? So hopefully it's not something like that. It makes me think of, remember when Jimmy was nursing the Achilles, Jimmy Smith, and then boom, there it went, right?
Yep.
So I hope it's not that, but the vagueness of it concerns me as well. And at the same time, I could just be totally overacting and they're just being precautionary.
Yeah.
And they're just letting him rest.
Or at the same time, he could miss because the only reason I say is because the Ravens traditionally have always been very guarded with their injury report. They only do what is deemed necessary by the league.
Right.
They do not offer any more additional information or clarity to the situation. So I think I'm worried just because of what you just said, the unknown, the what if, it could be more, could be nothing, could be purely precautionary, could be, man, I just woke up, my knee didn't feel right. And they're just like, whoa, we just want to nip this in the bud now and make sure that going forward you can practice. So let's just get it out of the way now. Maybe they look at this 1-2-1 Bengal team as a team that maybe they could afford for him to miss a couple practices now. And maybe, I don't know, but what it is, regardless of how you look at it, it's worrisome because he's not practicing. And this is an offense that we just got done doing a show about that we talked about how it's not hitting on all cylinders. It's not nearly what it was last season. And I know it's early and they missed preseason. There's some changeover in personnel. I get all that. But anytime your leader is not practicing, the guy who the head of the snake, the guy that steers the ship isn't practicing, you got another guy at the helm, it's going to affect them. Even if it is in small incremental amounts, it'll still affect them. That's why they practice throughout the week, because they need it. It makes them better. So without having it, obviously, it has to make them a little worse, even if it's only a little bit.
Right. And the other thing to think about too, it's not like, obviously they're not padded practices. I'm sure there's some speed to him, but Lamar's not going to get hit. So he must be pretty limited to miss those two practices that are probably like 3/4 speed walkthroughs at this point. Right. Yeah. Like if you can't do that, that makes me a little.
Well, that's why tomorrow
nervous.
is such a big day, because tomorrow is that walkthrough you're talking about. And
right.
If we don't see him out there at least in some sort of a limited basis, then you start getting worried, well, he might miss. And I don't care who you're playing or who your team is. If your number one quarterback's out, the chances of you winning go down dramatically.
Right.
So,
unless you're the Eagles in the playoffs, you got St. Nick back there. Yeah.
That's right.
It's not happening.
Now, I'm confident that we have a pretty decent quarterback room behind Lamar. I'm not saying that. I think that this is why RG3 would be here if in the event that he is forced to miss this game, Lamar being. This is why RG3 is here, is because we trust him to come in and win 1 or 2 games in the event that Lamar misses. But you don't want to see it. You still you hope that it never happens, obviously. You do that with every position, but more with the quarterback than any. So, yeah, I'm nervous. But at the same time, if he comes in, he does the walkthrough tomorrow, then I'm not nervous anymore. I'm pretty confident after that. But, I think you mentioned it. The fact that practice, the quarterback is so protected in practice.
Right.
So protected that if a rookie DN was to breathe on Lamar as he's running past him, he's going to get chastised. So the fact that they didn't feel he was ready to participate in those, of practices is worrisome. But I also say this is not like he was at home. It's not like he's somewhere else. He's at the facility. He's still participating in all the meetings. He's still on the
Right.
sideline watching practice, still absorbing information, but nonetheless, still a little worrisome.
Yeah, something definitely to talk about and something to keep your eye on, folks. This is
Mhm.
a big deal. First time, like you said, Glenn, first time ever to miss 2 practices in a row in his career. So let us know what your thoughts are. You guys as worried as us? I think that we're both relatively worried, and tomorrow will be a big deal. We'll be holding our breath until we see what happens in that walkthrough. But give us your thoughts, leave us your comments, your likes, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.